Welcome back. Well, today's book is a Bible story from the Gospel of John in the New Testament. John is one of the 4 books that we call Gospels that tell the good news about Jesus. Let's read. The 1 o'clock Miracle, written by Allison Mitchell, pictures by Catalina Echeverri. Allison is a senior editor at the Good Book Company, with over 30 years of involvement in training children's and youth leaders, as well as being the author of numerous children's books and reams of Sunday school kids' material. Catalina is a freelance illustrator specializing in children's books. She studied graphic design and children's book illustration in Milan and Cambridge. Originally from Bogota, Colombia, Catalina now lives in London, England. A true story about trusting the words of Jesus. Long, long ago, there lived an important man who worked for the king. He was sad and so worried. His son was very ill, so ill he was going to die, and no one could help him. But then he heard that a man named Jesus was doing the most amazing, wonderful things. He heard that Jesus was making ill people well again. He heard that Jesus was doing things only God can do. So the man decided to ask Jesus for help. The man and his son lived in Capernaum by the sea, but Jesus was staying in Cana, more than 20 miles away. It was a very long walk and uphill all the way. But the man had decided that he must see Jesus. So he said goodbye to his son and his family, and he set off to see Jesus. Up the hill, he walked and sometimes ran, because he wanted so badly to see Jesus. The sun went down. The night was dark, and the stars were bright, but the man didn't stop. Huffing and puffing, he walked and sometimes ran, hurrying to see Jesus. The sun came up. The morning arrived. But there was still a long way to go. Puffing and panting, the man walked and sometimes ran because he needed to see Jesus. At last, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the man reached Cana, the town where Jesus was. He had walked and sometimes ran, and now at last he could see Jesus. "Please, sir," he said, "my son is dying. Please come with me. Please make him better." The man knew that if Jesus came with him and touched his son, the boy would be well again. But Jesus just said, "Go." What? Go home without Jesus? after all that walking and even running to get Jesus to come? But Jesus hadn't finished. "Go," Jesus said. And then he added, "Your son will live." The man believed him. Jesus wasn't going to come to the man's house. He wasn't going to touch the boy to make him well. But the man still trusted that what Jesus said was true. Down the hill he walked and sometimes ran because he believed Jesus. The sun went down. The night was dark and the moon shone brightly. The man felt so tired. But on and on he walked and sometimes ran because he trusted Jesus. The sun came up. A new morning arrived, and still he walked and walked, though his back ached and his legs were very tired. On he walked and sometimes ran because he was sure Jesus would make his son well. "Your son will live." Then, far away in the distance, he saw some men. They came closer and closer. They were his own servants. They must have news, he thought. But what would it be? "Sir," they said, "it's your son. He's alive. He is well again." The man was bursting for joy. "When?" the man asks. "When did he get better?" "Yesterday, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon." "1 o'clock?" "1 o'clock," the men replied. Then the man remembered. It was 1 o'clock when he saw Jesus. It was 1 o'clock when Jesus said his son would live. And it was 1 o'clock when his son got better. Jesus didn't need to go and see the boy. He didn't need to walk and walk. He didn't have to run. Jesus simply spoke. And just like that, the boy was better. Wow, only Jesus could do that. And do you know why? Because Jesus is God's Son. Happy and smiling, the man walked home, and sometimes he ran, to see his son again. "Your son will live." Then he told his son and his family about Jesus and how Jesus could do things only God can do. And they all believed in Jesus, God's Son, too. And now that the son was well, what could he do? He could smile, and he could laugh. He could walk, and he could run. And all because of Jesus. The end. So, how do we know about the 1 o'clock miracle? The story of Jesus, healing the royal official's son was written down for us in the book of John in the New Testament. You'll find it in John chapter 4, verses 46 to 54. It's one of 7 miracles that the author of John writes about. He tells us at the end of his book that the miracles are like signposts pointing to Jesus. They show us who Jesus is, that he is the Son of God and God's promised rescue king, Israel's Messiah.